Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Commonwealth is turning a page as recent data shows overdose deaths decreasing. And we'll take a look at how one area is transitioning from a dry to wet county.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 5:30 on Wednesday, May 29th. Now let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. Good morning, everyone. Mid-50s, a little fog trying to develop outside our door here in Hazard, and some of you a little less than what we're obviously seeing in terms of visibility, not being able to see far, and that's down toward Harlan. Visibility now at Ashland down to about a half mile. Temperature-wise, very comfortable this morning. It's actually near 60 as you make your way through Monticello. It's in the mid-50s as you make your way through Pikeville and Ashland, and 52 at Clintwood. All right, satellite weather composite showing this one quick moving shower departing as you make your way through western portions of Virginia. Otherwise, it's kind of a theme here north and east of Hazard and Jackson as we head through today again. The opportunity for a shower or thunder shower. Otherwise, we call it sunny to partly cloudy today and a high up close to 72. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast as we head through this half hour. Olivia.
All right, Tim, thank you. Overdose deaths appear to be dropping in Kentucky faster than almost anywhere else. The CDC says on average, overdose deaths have dropped 3% nationwide. They've dropped nearly 8% in Kentucky. Advocates say outreach and education are in part bringing down the numbers.
Narcan is more readily available. People in Kentucky now know that treatment on demand exists. Addiction, it affects the entire person. And so it takes a full comprehensive effort, and it would be critically important that we don't spike the football too early because there are lives depending on it.
The CDC looked at numbers from December of 2022 to December of 2023. Kentucky's Office for Drug Control Policy will release its latest data in June. 3 people are accused of setting a house on fire to collect insurance money. State police say they got a call from Barberville police about a fire investigation on Pitzer Street. They say 3 people admitted to starting the fire. 58-year-old Ann Sloan, 66-year-old Donnie Sloan, and 56-year-old Beatrice Isaac, all of Barberville, are charged with arson and wanton endangerment. Someone living in the basement was able to escape without being injured. 2 people are facing charges after police in Harlan County say they were trafficking drugs. It happened last Friday when Harlan County Sheriff's deputies were conducting an investigation. When deputies tried to serve a warrant at a home in Cold Iron, they found Robbie Johnson hiding in a bedroom. They also found suspected meth and other drug paraphernalia. Caitlin Wynn was also taken into custody on a Harlan Circuit Court indictment for drug trafficking charges. Police in Laurel County are asking for help finding a person regarding a theft case. Take a look at your screen. This is the woman that the London Police Department is looking for. If you have any information about this case, you are asked to contact the London Laurel 911 Center at 606-878-7000. As people continue to report storm damage across the region, crews are still out cleaning up. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has more about those efforts in Hazard.
That is the sound of getting back to normalcy after severe weather hit the Commonwealth.
As you could tell out there today on Carter Street, you had us, you had the Housing Authority, and you had Kentucky Power all out there working together to get things done.
Eversole says after the weekend storms, the teamwork between all agencies involved is what moves things along quickly.
Within an hour, I was talking with one of the executives from the power company and let him know that our water plant was down, and we was real close to their substation, so he immediately began working on it and trying to get our power restored, and he did.
He says the next barrier the city was faced with was an influx of calls about trees being down.
Well, if it's on private property, then they need to contact the contractor. If it's near a state right-of-way road, call the state. If it's inside the city limits and they're worried about it, let us know at City Hall. And same thing with the county judge. Let him know, and we try to get to that stuff as soon as we can.
He also noted the biggest areas of concern were the south end of town, Lothair, and the Hazard water plant.
From one dead tree, I mean, it's hard to imagine how much debris actually comes from that. And we load it up and we haul it off, and this is one of our sites that we haul our stuff to right now.
Eversole says contents from the dumping site are taken to a landfill outside of London twice a week. In Hazard, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Eversole says any trees on power lines are taken care of by the power company for safety reasons. The National Weather Service surveyed damage in Mercer County yesterday. They say strong winds knocked down trees and even caused one death, but it was not a tornado. There was widespread damage throughout the county, particularly in the Bergen community. Earlier this week, we told you about a woman who was killed after a tree fell through her home. The coroner did release her name yesterday afternoon, identifying her as 67-year-old Julie Sterling. And it's not just folks in eastern and central Kentucky cleaning up from the storms this past weekend. Folks in western Kentucky are still reeling as well. Governor Beshear has called on the Kentucky National Guard to help the Division of Forestry. They are in the hardest hit areas out in the western part of the state, like Hopkins and McLean counties. Some service members are also helping fire departments out in those areas. Folks in West Virginia are trying to get FEMA assistance from the early April storms there, and they will hopefully have an easier time doing so thanks to some changes. FEMA says they've moved to a simplified application process that they hope will get money to people faster. They say the process has been streamlined and they have also expanded access.
The application process in the past, you would come to FEMA, fill out documentation, then go to the Small Business Administration, fill out documentation, and we have consolidated all of that to reduce steps in the process.
A state federal disaster recovery center was set to open yesterday morning at the Tyler Mountain Fire Department in Charleston. One Pike County woman will represent the region as the newest Kentucky Bar Association president. Rhonda Blackburn, who works on the Pikeville Medical Center legal team, will take on the position as the first Eastern Kentuckian to hold the title in more than 40 years. She says the plan is to spread awareness about the educational opportunities and mental health resources available through the association while spreading her love for the region alongside Dan Click, the new head of the Young Lawyers Division, who is also from Pikeville.
So we're going to make the dream team and proudly represent Eastern Kentucky within the whole attorneys across the state.
Blackburn says the position is volunteer, but she is excited to put in the needed work and is blessed to have PMC support along the way. It's been more than a week since the May primary election, and one of the big races we were following was the Knott County wet dry vote, which did receive enough yes votes to make the county wet. I was able to look into what this could mean for the people of Knott County. Last Tuesday's election brought roughly 20% of voters to the polls in Knott County as a wet dry vote was once again on the ballot. County Clerk Reese Cornett says the vote got the green light and folks will soon be able to buy and sell alcohol. But this change takes time.
We've certified that election. So now it goes into the hands of the county attorney. So he has to, KRS 242-190, he has to wait 60 days at the certification. Then he has to go and hire a ABC administrator.
Local restaurant owner Sandra Baldridge says this is an exciting change for her business.
I think it'll bring in people. Right now we have so many people walk out the door and leave because of it. And, you know, they're going to neighboring counties when they could stay here and the money could be local. And that's what we want. We want them eating here, we want them shopping here.
And Baldridge says the other Pig and a Poke locations in the region sell alcohol. So she says they already have the tools to easily implement if they get a license approved.
As far as the bartending and everything, you know, we've got it down. We've got all the instruments, we just couldn't do it. So, you know, it's just time. You know, there's no reason for people to walk out the door and, you know, go to Hazard or go to Floyd County. You know, they could just stay local.
And KSP Trooper Matt Gayhart says he does not expect to see a huge change, but he says law enforcement will continue to be on patrol. And he urges folks to continue to do their part by driving sober.
We oftentimes refer to the legal limit of being our threshold, which is a .08. People don't understand that is our per se limit, which meaning that is when you're presumed intoxicated by the courts. Impairment can take place as low as half that legal limit, maybe even lower.
And restaurant owners and businesses must wait at least 60 days after the election was certified, which was on Friday, to apply for a license.